My name is Joe Akech, and I'm the former mayor of Nairobi, and I also happen to be the chairman of the Association of Kenya-Ethiopia Friends back in Kenya. I've been reading about this dam, but God has made it possible for us to come here and see it in person. It is a massive project, and it is a project that is not only going to help the Ethiopians, but it's a massive project that is going to help the people within the region, in East Africa and Africa per se. We must, as Africans, congratulate Ethiopia for coming up with such a good dam, which is going to generate a lot of opportunity, improve the economic situation in all the countries within Ethiopia. As a matter of fact, we in Kenya, we are so delighted because we already have an agreement with Ethiopia in terms of giving us some energy, which of course was signed by our beloved government previously. I also want to echo the sentiment of the people of Ethiopia, because this dam has been built not through the World Bank, not through the IMF, but through the spirit of Harambee, which means let's pull together Ethiopians, which included the women, the mothers, the children, and even, I'm surprised, even the prisoners who are on the death row have also contributed towards the development of this project. I think Ethiopia should be given the maximum support, because whatever this project is going to do, it is for the benefit not only for Ethiopia, but also for Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Egypt. And Egypt must also appreciate what this government is doing, because from what I'm seeing here, Egypt is not going to lose anything. As a matter of fact, they're going to be gaining. Khartoum, Sudan, is going to be gaining. So this is an African project, and I think we should really get together, work together, give a lot of support to the people of Ethiopia, in my extension to the people of within the region and to the people of Africa. I'm urging the AU to come in a very nice manner, diplomatically, so we can sit down together as Africans and see how we can benefit in this project, which has really been put by the Ethiopian people. All the countries within the region, including Egypt and other countries within the area, to come and sit down, not only to celebrate, but to see what we can do in order to nurture this wonderful project that Ethiopia has come up with. And there's no harm to Egypt, there's no harm to Sudan, there's no harm to Kenya, there's no harm to Rwanda, there's no harm to anybody within the region. As a matter of fact, all of us are going to benefit. So this question, the perception which has been created that the dam is going to bring a lot of dissolution to the people of Egypt is uncalled for. In the contrary, it is going to build more working relationship, which is going to enhance a very good working relationship between Kenya and Ethiopia, between Ethiopia and Egypt and Kenya, and Egypt and Sudan. And as a matter of fact, the entire Africa is going to be very proud. This is an African project, and that's why we should really come out and support it. And it's been built not through the Western world, but through the initiative of the people of Ethiopia. And in my country, we call that Harambee, which means let's pull together and work and contribute towards the development of whatever we're doing. I think there's a lot of propaganda being given on this project. Merely the international community, maybe other people from other part of the world are saying, well, this project is going to create more problems. That is not true. I think there's a lot of propaganda which is being done, and I don't think it is fair for us to put any propaganda or some kind of a mischievous communication to show that this project is not worth it. It is worth it. It's millions of dollars. Where is Ethiopia making a mistake? Where is Africa making a mistake when they're coming up with their own project so that they can work together, so that they can depend upon themselves, not depend upon the other world. We want to depend upon ourselves so that we can also contribute to the Western world. This question of us receiving all the time, I think a time will come when Africa will also give back to the Western world. And this is through the initiative of Ethiopia. We must commend Ethiopia. We must commend Ethiopian people. The spirit of Harambee, you people have shown us of working together. You have really made us proud.
Yeah, my name is Professor Kasai Japule. I'm from Uganda. I used to read about the Grand Renaissance Dam and I used to hear about it, but now I'm right on top of it, so it makes a very big difference. I mean, it's a very good feat of engineering, and I think once completed, then it's one of the biggest projects that we have in Africa. I come from a country where also we have the Nile. We have the White Nile. This is the Blue Nile. I think this is something that can be, if it can be replicated 10 times, I think Africa will be on our way, because this is what we've been looking for. You cannot have development without power, and you cannot, and I think this is what all we are looking for. 5,000 megawatts, and this can light half of the continent, I think. So in terms of the integration, what does integration mean? Integration means that countries within the same region coming together, and coming together also means development, and development can only happen when you have some projects like this. At least the water is flowing naturally. There is no blockage of the water. And so if anybody is talking about this thing as being constructed, that which is meant to impede the natural flow of the river, I don't think so, because what I would witnessed here is the water is flowing naturally. So I think the Egyptians should rethink what they are talking about. This is a transboundary natural resource. We have other transboundary natural resources, and I think all the 12 countries in the Nile Basin should pick an example from this, that you can mobilize resources locally, but also at the same time you can develop but paying due regard to the rights of others. And this is what we have been talking about, equitable utilization. Equitable utilization simply means that you use, but you pay due regard to the rights of others. And I think this is what this is all about. I don't think it's very far from, Uganda is not very far from here. But I think within the context of regional integration, within the context of African power pool, we need power. That's why we are called the dark. Why are we called the dark continent? Partly because we don't have power. If you look at net, it's all darkness. So this is part of the contribution on how we advance. This is something, it's an African project. It is meant to help African people. And I think within the context of African solutions to African problems, it should be us, the Africans, to deal with if there are any issues which are arising out of the construction of the dam, it should be us to deal with the problem, because we are the ones who know the problem. It's not the Americans who know the problem.
My name is Robert Amini. I'm an engineer by profession and by training. I come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm very impressed by this Gerd Dam, which is a very impressive structure. It's a great achievement from the Ethiopian government and for Africa, because this infrastructure will deliver power which will be supplied to a great part of Africa and Ethiopia as well. Water is a common resource, and the development and the survival of our people rely on the sharing of the water as a common pool. And we think that this project, although is carried out by the Ethiopian government, but it will help more Africa to get out of the dark. I do believe that Gerd is an African project, because from what is projected is that this dam is supposed to give power to more than 2 to 3 main important countries in East Africa. And this is what we are looking at when we talk about integration. And this is what we also expect in DRC with our Inga Dam. And we think the scale and the magnitude of this project, it should be seen as an African pride. We connect with all these kind of projects which help Africa to raise, whether it's Gerd Dam, Inga Dam, or any other dam in part of Africa to get Africa to advance and develop. We will be always supporting such initiatives. What we can learn from Gerd is the fact that Ethiopians managed to fund this impressive structure by their own means, and this aligns with the idea that we as Africans, we should find solution to African problem, and why not with African resources, with African funds. And this is a great example to learn from Ethiopia. It will be for the greatness of Africa, and we are all sons of Africa. It's Africa which is winning. What we hope is that the infrastructure will be built to its full capacity, and I hope that all the environmental and social aspects have been taken in consideration, so that this infrastructure serves the people for long without harming anyone.
My name is Justin Uriwa Jong. I'm the Secretary General for South Sudan National Youth Union, and it is my pleasure to visit the Grand Ethiopian resonance dams. This is an asset for the regions, and as a young gentleman coming from a young country, it is a benefit for all the African nations, and we have to own it, because when we talk about Light Africa, this is where the source of lighting Africa comes from. And we have to support the Ethiopian government so that the sustainability of this project is put in place. If there is any support that is required from the referendum countries, South Sudan is ready to support. Even we, the youth, if our government cannot afford, we can also contribute, even if it is something from your pocket, so that it can sustain the economy of the country. Before I come here, I was thinking that it is something very little. But the moment I saw it, even Egyptian, if they come here, they will be the first to support the project, because there are no side effects. The water is flowing normally, and even it is now controlling floods. Because according to one of the engineers, he said if this dam was not there, the whole of Sudan was going to be flooded, leave alone South Sudan. South Sudan is also now affected by the flood. What is the side effect now? This dam is now filled, I can see there's enough water, and still we have flood in South Sudan. So that means there is no side effect. It is only a kind of concept that is being enforced on the mind of people, saying that if this dam is filled, automatically Egyptian will die because of drought. That is a concept of one person who is against the development of Africa. Like recently, when someone was saying Egypt will blow the dams, what is it for? What is their concern? So we need to handle our affairs as Africans, and as young people, this is ours. We have to own it, we have to work toward it, and if there are side effects, we have also to handle these side effects through negotiation, through conference, and through youth engagement. And I would like to appreciate the Prime Minister for initiating youth conference that will take place very soon. I think we shall also have a lot of brainstorming and come up with our own agenda on how to manage our resources in Africa without interference of other people from outside. So we must share this Nile water equally through agreement that are subjected to amendment, because like the agreement that were made by the colonials, it's now affecting us. They said water belonged to Egypt alone. Now, if it belongs to Egypt, where is the source of that water? Like for us in South Sudan, we have rainwater that flow to the Nile. Okay, if we block that Nile, how will that water go? So we need to understand ourselves, and we are all brothers and sisters. So let's work together and find ways of supporting one another so that Africa can also compete with other nations and other continents.